Hi everyone, welcome back again to another tutorial on Joanne's channel. Thank you so much guys for stopping by once again. If you're a returning subscriber, God bless you. I appreciate your engagement and support. And if you're a new subscriber, don't forget to hit on the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload new video. In today's video, we're learning how to make a stylish bustier with continuous cap sleeve. So watch till the end guys. On my pattern paper, the first thing I'll simply do is to establish my guideline. As a beginner, if you're watching me for the first time, a guideline helps you or guides you to establish your horizontal and your vertical measurements. So it's very important to always create your guideline. So the neck width I'll be working with for this tutorial is 3.5, and then my shoulder measurement, which is your shoulder divided by 2, mine is 7.5. I'll go ahead and establish my shoulder slope, which is down by 1 inch, linking it up to your neck width. And then I'll also establish my armhole measurement, which is your round bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5. So with that calculation, I got 8.5 for my own bust circumference. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is to establish my armhole curve. What I'll simply do is to mark the midpoint of my armhole, which is 4.25. I'll go in by half an inch. I'll place the quarter of my bust circumference on my chest line, and then I'll go ahead and draft my armhole curve. Okay, so I'll be using the curvy part of my French curve to do this. Okay, and then I'm trying to blend it properly. The next thing I'll simply do is to establish my armhole, my neck depth. The neck depth I'm working with is 3 inches, and then I'll simply go ahead and take my vertical measurements, which is my bust line, my under bust, and then my waistline. Okay, so my front waistline is 18 inches. Your front waistline is always different from your back waistline. So I'll go ahead and use my pattern master to draw a straight line. So at this point, I was using the guide from the edge of my pattern master to draw a straight line. You can see that it's kind of directly at the edge of my pattern to guide me create a straight line. Okay, so I'll simply go ahead and label it, as you can see on the pattern. What I'll simply do next, guys, is to mark my half bust span, which is your nipple to nipple divided by 2. Okay, so for me, I have 4 inches. So I'll proceed to contouring of my princess bustier. So if you look at the pattern, you'll notice that the contouring is more on the center front, drifting to the center front than to the side front. So for this, and the contouring for this pattern is for a plus size. So I'm contouring towards the center front 1.5 and then towards the side front 1.5 as well. So it's kind of uniform. You can do half an inch towards the center front and then 2.5 inches towards the side front. You will notice that the contouring of the bustier will be drifting more towards the side fronts when you close your panels together. So for the princess bustier on the armhole, I'll be marking the midpoint of my armhole. I'll come down by 1.25 and upwards by 0.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to be linking the midpoint of my armhole to my bustier, and then I'll contour the measurements, which is the 0.5 inches and the 1.25 inches down to the bust line. I'll simply go ahead and blend the bust area properly so that it creates that bust-like feature on the pattern. So what I'll simply do is to blend. You can see that one line is shorter than the other. So if you close up this panel, it might not really blend properly. So I'll extend that line and create a new armhole. You can either use your measuring tape or you close that pattern and ensure that both lines meet, and then you create your new armhole. So I'll simply go ahead and take my body measurement, which is the quarter of my bust, replace your dart intake for the chest line, and then a seam allowance of 2 inches. So for the under bust, I'll do the same, and the waistline, you do the same. The quarter of your bust circumference, you replace your dart intake and your seam allowance. So the seam allowance I'm working with is 2 inches for this pattern. Okay, so I'll simply go ahead and link these 2 points, as you can see me doing. So at this point, I was trying to extend the line because there was need for me to do that. I'll go ahead and place my bust because we'll be working with a bust dart for this pattern, and then I'll link it to my bust point, as you can see. So I went ahead to create my dart legs for the bust dart. The next thing I'll simply do, guys, is to go ahead and create the scoop neckline. So I came down by 9 inches, and then I used the curvy part. I was trying to get the actual curve that suited the description on the thumbnail. So I did the first one. I felt it wasn't curvy enough, so I proceeded to using the curvy part. This is a second line, so I was just test running different lines that will create that curve-like effect, more like giving it a scoop neckline on the neck hole area. So I felt okay, at the end of this tutorial I was going to choose one. I'll look clearly and then choose a particular one that suits the description on the thumbnail. So this is what we have for the front pattern. Okay, so what we'll simply do is to create our continuous cap sleeve. To do that, I'll extend the shoulder measurement by 2 inches. I'll come down by 1.25, as you can see, and then I'll go ahead and create my curve. Okay, just use your French curve to curve it and link it to the shoulder, and then link it to the first dart leg so that it doesn't get into your dart intake. You can see what I did. I blended the armhole, the cap sleeve, into my first dart leg. So by the time I'm joining the pattern, everything will be well synchronized into the armhole. Okay, it won't get into your dart line or alter the pattern. So I'll go ahead and close up my bust dart. So how do I close up this bust dart? I'll go ahead and open up my waist dart to enable me close up the bust dart. So by doing this, I've transferred the bust dart to the waist dart. Okay, if you open up your armhole, the dart on the armhole, and then close up your bust dart, you also transfer the dart to the armhole area. So all depends on where you want to transfer your bust dart to. So if you notice that this pattern, I drafted it on a full basic body, a full basic block, simply because I wanted a clear description of what the pattern will look like at the end of the tutorial. I wanted to see and show us the full effects of the contouring drafted on this pattern so that it suits what we have on the thumbnail. So at this point, I was trying to cut out the excess pattern on the pattern paper for the front pattern, and this is exactly what we have for our front pattern. Okay, so guys, we'll proceed for the back pattern. The back pattern is very easy. I already have my guideline and the shoulder slant on the pattern. Neck width is still the same thing, which is 3.5. The armhole is still 8. I'll mark the midpoint, and then I'll go ahead and place the quarter of my bust circumference on the chest line, and then I'll link it this way. So the back armhole is a bit different from the front armhole. I'll place my waistline, and my chest line is already established. So I'll go ahead and draw a straight line, excuse me guys, and then also draw a straight line for the waist line. Have in mind that the waistline measurement is different from the front. The waistline is 16.5 inches because of the bust dart, and then the neck depth for the front pattern is 1.5 inches. I'll go ahead and eliminate my zipper bulge by 1/2 inch. So you move in by 1/2 inch on the waistline and then replace it again. Okay, so just slant it the same way you did at the edge. Go in by 1/2 inch, slant it towards the neckline, and still move on the same waistline, move in by 1/2 inch and slant it in that direction to eliminate the bulge at the zipper area, which is basically at the waistline area. What I'll simply do is to place my waist dart on the pattern, and then I'll move ahead to placing my body measurement, horizontal measurement, plus the seam allowance and dart intake on the pattern. What I'll simply do, guys, next is to place our continuous cap sleeve, just like we did for the front pattern. You go outwards by 2 inch, you come down by 1.25, and then you link it to your shoulder and then blend it into the armhole, as you can see on the pattern. So thank you so much, guys, while we cut out the excess pattern paper. Thank you so much for engaging with us. Thank you for sticking with us till the end. Don't forget to like, share, leave us a comment, and let us know what you think about the tutorial. God bless you. I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.